Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today we will be discussing the previous year questions of Indian classical literature. These are the most repeated questions with their model answers. I will not be reading out the entire question, I will be merely explaining the question and then you can take a screenshot of the model answers. If you are watching from any other university, you can watch this as well. A lot of universities follow a very similar syllabus, so these questions and answers will help you regardless of where you are studying. Let's get started. Question 1. Draupadi's question during the game of dice makes us aware of dharma, women's right, and her position in a Kshatriya world. This one's a classic and comes up almost every year. In brief, Draupadi asks whether Yudhishthir, having already lost himself, had any right to stake her. The elders stay silent, Bhishma admits dharma is subtle, and this single question becomes the moral seat of the entire Kurukshetra war. Question 2. Justice and vengeance in the book of Vanji, with the anklet as the central symbol. Here, Kovalan is wrongly executed over a mistaken anklet. Kannagi proves his innocence by breaking her own anklet open before the court and then burns down Madurai in a fury that is later sanctioned when she is deified as the goddess Pattini. Question 3. The valorization of Senkuttuvan and kingship in the book of Vanji. In short, Senkuttuvan is shown as the ideal king. A great warrior, yes, but his real purpose is religious, bringing stone from the Himalayas to consecrate Kannaki's image, showing that true kingship blends power with dharma. Question 4. Karna's temptation by Krishna and whether he upholds dharma. Krishna reveals Karna's true birth and offers him the throne, but Karna refuses out of loyalty to Duryodhan, who honored him when the world did not. This makes him a tragic figure, upholding personal dharma of gratitude even while knowingly supporting an unjust cause. Question 5. Krishna's peace proposal and the significance of peace in the epic. Krishna asks for just 5 villages to avoid war. Duryodhan refuses even a needle point of land, and this refusal is what morally justifies the war for the Pandavas and sets up the philosophy of the Gita. Question 6. The significance of Vikarna's protest. During Draupadi's disrobing, Vikarna, Duryodhan's own younger brother, argues the wager was invalid, but Karna dismisses him. His protest matters because it shows moral clarity existed in that court. It just was not acted upon by the more powerful elders. Question 7. How Shakuntala's love letter and glances show her expressive, assertive personality. Through feigned excuses, stolen glances, and finally a written verse on a lotus leaf, Shakuntala moves from shy indirection to active self-expression, shaping her own love story within the limits of ashram propriety. Question 8. Dushanta's Rajdharma and whether he turns the hermitage into a pleasure garden. Yes, his pursuit of Shakuntala does disturb the sanctity of Kanva's ashram initially, but later, even in grief after the curse, Dushant continues to perform his royal duties, showing that personal sorrow never overrides his kingly responsibility. Question 9. Love in its various stages across 2 prescribed texts. In Shakuntala, love moves through attraction, separation by curse and joyful reunion. In Silapadikaram, marital love is tested by betrayal, restored by loyalty, and then transformed into tragic vengeance and finally religious devotion. Question number 10. Questions posed by women protagonists as the basis of debate on dharma and karma. Draupadi and Kannagi both ask piercing questions that expose the failure of male power structures, and both are answered not through ordinary justice but through cosmic or divine consequences. A war in one case, a burning city in the other. Question number 11. Is the Book of Vanji more about masculine war than feminine values? On the surface, it looks like a martial narrative, but the entire expedition exists to honor Kannaki's chastity and virtue. So feminine values are actually the emotional and moral center, even though the masculine political machinery is what carries it out. Question number 12. Krishna as the maker, doer and destroyer of karma. Krishna shapes the conditions of war, actively intervenes with strategies like using Shikhandi against Bhishma, and ultimately presides over the destruction of the entire Kaurav order, and later even his own Yadav clan. Question number 13. Dhritarashtra's role as king leading up to the dicing game. He is aware of Duryodhan's flaws but never acts on that awareness, sanctioning the game out of paternal weakness. His silence during Draupadi's humiliation makes him a case study in passive, sentiment-driven kingship. 15. The significance of the title Abhigyan Shakuntalam, meaning the recognition of Shakuntala. The whole plot hinges on a ring, lost after Durvasa's curse and recovered only later, which alone can restore Dushant's memory of his own wife, making recognition, memory and truth the play's central themes. Question number 15. How Shakuntala is treated at the king's palace. Without her ring as proof, she is publicly doubted, accused and rejected by Dushant and his court, until a divine light carries her away to safety in Marika's hermitage. highlighting the harshness of courtly judgment compared to the trust of the ashram. Question number 16. Shringar Ras as the dominant sentiment in Abhigyan Shakuntalam. The play moves through the classical stages of love, falling in love, playful hesitation, separation, and finally joyful reunion, using natural imagery throughout to mirror each emotional stage. Question number 17. The righteous South versus the unruly North in Senkuttuvan's expedition. The northern kings mock the Tamil rulers but are decisively defeated, and Senkuttuvan's mission, bringing back sacred stone for Kannagi's shrine, becomes a moral, not just military triumph of the disciplined South over an arrogant North. That's all the 17 questions that we have for you today. These were among some of the most repeated questions, so if you found this helpful, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again in the next one.